Welcome back to Roommate Confessions. Today we have a special guest, Anna. Anna, welcome.
Thank you
Yes,
Yeah, thanks for being here.
so much. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I have to be honest with you. We came across Anna's TikTok,
Yep.
of which so many of you, actually over 4 million of you, may have before. Anna, where can they find this horrific TikTok of your roommate experience on?
It's A.Touhey on TikTok.
A.Touhey at
Touhey.
TikTok. Perfect.
Touhey,
And
okay.
you had 4 million views on the TikTok that we came across from your recent roommate experience. But before we dive into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
So I live in Virginia currently, and I love to read. I love the beach, and I like to cook too and drink coffee.
Oh, I love coffee.
Coffee is the secret sauce to my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best.
What's your favorite type of coffee? Like, is it a latte? Is it black? How do you drink your coffee?
I've been making the whipped coffees a lot.
Oh, yum.
I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's so good. So I make those at home like every day.
Oh my God. So it's where you put the whipping cream and then you put one of those whippers in it?
So you make like instant coffee, sugar, and then water, and then you put that on top of milk. And
Oh,
then
that
you
sounds pretty good.
stir
So
it
like
in.
almost like a little
Yeah.
latte.
Yeah, that's called a frappe.
Mhm.
Frappe.
Yeah, Greeks call it a frappe. I
didn't know that. There you
Instant
go.
coffee, sugar.
Frappe.
And yeah, that is so awesome. I love that. So you're a coffee drinker, reader, viral TikTok creator, and
For good reason.
for good reason, and
Yeah.
potential, are we talking former roommate now or still roommate with this one individual?
It's former.
Okay.
So I have two great roommates now.
Oh,
Awesome.
thank goodness. And before
sure-
you,
Yeah, no.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was just about to mention, I'm sure you appreciate them more considering what you've been through in the past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Yeah. And you were letting us know
Um,
before we jumped on that you had a few good roommates experiences in college. So tell us a little bit about that. You lived in the dorm. Where did you go?
So I go to Liberty, but I'm now off campus. And so my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I had different roommates, but they were all great and we got along super well and no fights. So that I feel like that goes to say that it takes two
Totally.
to make it work. And I had great experiences those 3 years. And then I moved off campus, and that's when it just went downhill.
So that's when it went downhill. And when was that? When did you move off campus? Was it a year ago, 2 years ago?
It was in January. So
Oh,
I
okay.
stayed home the semester before, and then I came back and found an apartment.
Awesome. Did you find an apartment with this person on your own?
And-
Kind of tell us, yeah.
And how did you find this person to live with?
Yeah.
So I was on Facebook, like our college Facebook group, and someone was reletting their lease.
Mm.
So I would have it from January to July.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And there was another girl that was also moving out at the same time. So it was just this trash hoarder and me, and then this other girl that were moving in together.
So there
Oh,
was
boy.
3 of you moving into this apartment,
Two.
There were 2 new people, and one stayed
and
from
one
the
stayed.
previous lease.
Okay. And was the one that stayed the one that had issues?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sure we're gonna get to why, but would you presume that the reason why they moved out was because of this roommate?
I assume.
I
Yeah.
assume.
I feel like they should have told me
Yeah.
or been
Yeah.
honest about that, but it gets worse because other people knew and they didn't tell me either. So
Oh,
Oh
God.
my God. Okay, so let's give the
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
let's give the people kind of a little rundown of, okay, so obviously you have this viral TikTok. It gets over 4 million views, over 500,000 engagements, likes, comments. Some of the comments we've seen were absolutely crazy, which we will get into. But tell us a little bit about, give us the backstory. Tell us a little bit about this roommate experience. What did you move into?
Yeah.
So how it started was I couldn't even move in yet because there were fleas. Because this person let her cat out and brought back in Fleas. So I had to wait a week to move in.
Oof, okay.
But this other girl, I'm going to call her M,
Okay.
she was coming in with me at the same time. And on the first day, she said, I'm allergic to flea bites. I can't live here. And she moved out. So I didn't even get to meet her or anything.
Wow.
So that was kind of weird. But she then replaced another girl, B. So it was me, B, and J, who is the one that had some issues with trash. But B wasn't good either. They
Oh.
were both really bad. So so when I moved in, the fridge was an absolute mess. There were like stacked up containers with moldy food and pizza boxes, and it had Jay's name on it. And I was like, hey, like, do you have stuff in the refrigerator? He said, no, I don't think so. So I just threw all the moldy food, like the containers, the pizza, away. And I guess she just forgot about it. Like, I let that slide. And also, so the girl that stayed for one day, she had B sign the lease and didn't tell us about her really, but she had a dog,
Oh.
which then pooped on the floor and it would stay there for days.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's backtrack. So you're supposed to move in with this one girl, and she backs out because she's allergic to fleas. So fleas, overwhelming fleas to the point where people can't live there because it's so bad. Was that not your first red flag?
It was, but I really wanted to come back to school, like in Virginia.
So it was like your only
So,
option.
yeah.
You were kind of
And I
overlooking
signed the
it.
lease already.
Oh, you had
Yeah.
signed
I
the
was like, I can.
lease.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
geez.
signed the lease, and figured like the pest control would come in. It would be a short issue
Yeah.
that would be solved, but no.
No, and then you move in and you start to notice there's kind of like, so when you move in though, explain to the listeners, because I think there's probably a lot of people thinking out there, was the whole place not was it not an obvious hoarding disaster yet, or was it no? So the common space was clean.
Yes. Yeah, there was like a Christmas tree, a few chairs, a mattress, some boxes, but I just assumed that the people that moved out maybe left that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really know. And same with the food in the refrigerator, other
Right.
than her name being on the pizza boxes. I was like, maybe they just didn't care and moved out.
Yeah, and we all are kind of probably at fault for leaving food in the fridge for too long. Like I definitely have
I've
been.
done it.
Yeah. So okay. So
Another thing you said earlier was the love of coffee, and I've left the coffee beans in the coffee maker for a little while, and you go back to it.
Oh yeah. Sick.
Next time you make coffee, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah. His roommate's about to kick him out too. I know her well. Okay, so perfect. So now I kind of sets the stage. So it wasn't a huge red flag, but you noticed little things here and there. So so this other now roommate moved in because the other one couldn't because of the fleas. They move in with a dog. And at what point did things start to go downhill with this one that moved in with you with the dog? You're calling her B? So when did B's dog start pooping? Like when did things, like was it a week? Was it a month? Like how long until these things started happening?
So she moved in before me. So I got there like
Oh.
a week later. She moved on in probably like 4 days before me, something like that. So her dog started pooping on the floor pretty like as soon
Inside.
as I got there. Yes.
Okay.
All over the floor. Like she just wouldn't be there to take care of this dog.
And it was kept
And then
indoors.
it would be left there.
Yeah, it's not like the dog
Oh.
could go outside.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's so
No,
bad.
so-
That just makes me feel so bad for the dog.
Yeah, she was the sweetest dog.
Oh.
But it just happened over and over. Me and Jay would tell her, listen, like, you need to come home and clean this up. This is not fair to us. It's in the common area. That's against the lease. Like, we told her everything, and she was like, I know, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. But it would just keep happening. And then the dog got sick
Ugh.
by, like, eating Easter eggs that were out. So
So
there's
chocolate.
chocolate everywhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't even know. But it was bad in the common area.
And this
Jeez.
is how long have you lived here at this point?
That lasted for like a month and a half, 2 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you have a lot of patience. I don't know if I'd last that long.
yeah, that's
Yeah. It was hard.
yeah.
Wow.
And poor dog. I mean, you can tell you've got
Mhm.
compassion. You're a dog person, so you're probably just like.
Mhm.
I mean, was she at least okay? I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but like she fed the dog, all right? I mean, she cared for it a little bit.
Yeah, like she would come home sometimes. I don't really know because I would babysit, go to school. Um, but I just felt really bad for the dog. But I know her friend would come in and help with the dog too. But she made a copy for her friend and didn't let us know about that,
Oh, a
which I
copy of the
don't think
key.
was, yeah,
Yeah,
just
that
to
would
come
bug
in
me.
freely.
Oh,
I don't
That would
think that was
definitely
really
bug me.
right.
You letting somebody else in your place
Yeah.
without the consent of everybody
Yeah.
else.
just weird
Yeah.
things. So now,
Yeah, and then
oh, go ahead.
mhm. Oh, so when I came home one day, she was coming out of my room because I lived on the downstairs and they were upstairs. So this girl that was coming in with the key, her and B were there. She's coming out of my room and I was just so confused. Like I had a long day, so I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore that. And I had a master bedroom, so I had a bathroom inside in my room. And I look in my toilet and there's dog poop and paper towels stuffing up my private toilet, my bathroom. And I was like, did someone use my bathroom? Even though I knew what happened. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to carry the dog poop upstairs.
Oh
So
my.
you just put it in my toilet and clog my toilet. That's
Oh,
really
So
nice.
inconsiderate.
gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gross.
And
So
and
she
not
was
not like not like toilet paper, but paper towels, so they're thicker.
yeah,
yeah.
so it's
It's gonna
clogged
clog
now.
the toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're
Yeah.
clogged. So you and
Mhm.
Jay, the other one, are so you think
Mhm.
Jay has your. I mean, you think Jay's at this point is normal. You both have this
Yeah.
agreement, like, hey, stop letting your
Mhm.
dog shit everywhere. And
Yeah.
so then, where did all of a sudden Jay? Because the real story, for those that are listening, the whole viral TikTok and really the emphasis of a lot of your poor roommate experience wasn't even about B, of whom we've been talking about. It was about Jay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So when did you start recognizing things with Jay were weird?
So when we told B, like, you can't live here anymore, you didn't pay your rent, you didn't want to pay utilities, we almost took her to court.
Oh,
So we had a completely empty room. We didn't have to pay rent because we got rental assistance because of that whole situation. So it was probably 2 months after B moved out. So like March, April, that I started noticing that there was trash in B's old room. And I was really confused about that because obviously it's an open room, no one's living there. And so I told her, I was like, because her vent, like the vent in B's room, goes to mine.
mm.
So I was having gnats
Oh,
in my room. Yeah, it was really bad. So I was like, hey, can you clean it up? And she was like, yeah, I've been working on it. I'll get to it. I'm so sorry. Just making excuses, but I just didn't think much of it. But she moved her mattress. No, actually, I think she had 3 empty mattresses just around the apartment. So I guess her room got too messy. And she moved into the open room. And then eventually she made her way downstairs in the common area just to sleep there.
oh my God!
Oh.
Because the rooms were so filled with trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a hard no for me. No way.
Yeah.
That's just such a lack of consideration for the other roommates.
No, that's a psychological issue,
Yeah.
though. Like that's like some true. It like I mean, you watch like Hoarders, right? Like
Hmm.
they get these attachments to. It's like a psychological disorder where they get attachments to like Dorito bags, water bottles, pizza boxes, like everything. They keep everything. And would you consider this person? I mean, trash is everywhere. So let's let the listeners at this point just take a look at the original TikTok that we're referring to.
Where are you? I'm over here.
So that what we just saw was horrific. Like
Mhm.
absolutely horrific. So you're from what we saw in that video and what you're telling us is she trashed her room so bad with trash that she made her room way into the second room with that mattress on the floor though that we saw. What room was that? Because that was disgusting.
Yeah, that was B's old room. That's the one that she took over.
So that's the second
And
room
the
that she had trashed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And now she's living on the
And
couch.
No, she brought a third
I
mattress
think it was,
downstairs.
yeah, it was another mattress on
Oh my God.
like a bed thing that she had downstairs. But I even cleaned up that room. I think it's in one of the TikToks too. But after I did that, it just got trashed again. And she didn't even thank me for it either. She just said, I appreciate it, but I could have helped you. Like, okay, why didn't you help me
Right.
Right.
or do it yourself? Like,
Exactly.
I
Do it.
don't get it.
Do it before it got to the need where I had to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my. So what were you, I mean, did you guys have, I mean, so this is a lot of trash. This is something you see on like TLC. I live with a hoarder. It's absolutely everywhere. So you start getting gnats. Do you get cockroaches, mice? Do you get maggots?
There were maggots when I
Oh.
cleaned up her room, like just on, like embedded into the carpet.
Oh my
Yeah, it was
God.
disgusting. While I was cleaning it with a mask and my gloves on, they were flying into my face and my eyes. And they were in my
God
room. So I
bless
got
you.
the
That's
fly strips.
insane.
You put up fly strips
I
for
got
the,
the fly strips. Yeah, in my room.
oh my God.
And they were covered. Covered. I put up like 3.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
patience of a saint.
Wow.
God bless you.
Did you ever just
Thanks.
ask her? Because I'm sure this is what a lot of people are wondering. Like, did you just ever say, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you keeping this trash?
I don't think I really asked her why, but I would just ask her to clean it up. Like, and she had no problem with it. She was like, I'm working on it or something like that. So I don't know why she just kept it.
Did she have some like
Because when I
ridiculous?
cleaned her room,
No, I was gonna ask. Was she like
No, you
super
can go
super
ahead.
busy?
Yeah, like, was she never home? Like,
Yeah, I could see if she had some
Um,
ridiculously like
but even then, I
busy
mean,
schedule, but at the same time, oh, I'm working on it. No, it's like
yeah, like,
take-
no, just clean it.
take 20 minutes, girl.
Yeah.
Take 20 minutes.
What are you working on?
yeah. Yeah, so she would commute to work like an hour away, 45 minutes, at like 6:30 in the morning, and she would get back at like 6:30 at night. At one point, she worked at Papa John's. And she had somewhat of a social life that I knew about. But she would come home and I would just hear her TV or computer that she was listening to something. So she had time to clean it. She just chose not to.
So she, as you make time for what you want, right? I mean, so for
Mhm.
this mattress on the, so she slept on the floor on a mattress with, in the trash, with the maggots in the trash.
Wow. Another thing too that I learned back
Yep.
when I was in college, it's not good to keep a mattress on the floor. Supposedly, it's one of the highest areas where spiders start living is under a mattress on the floor.
Really?
I don't know how, I don't know why, but
Yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't really have spiders.
Oh yeah, of all the
but
things,
lots
thanfully.
of flies and gnats. And, yeah.
Yeah.
And it would have been like,
It was
that's
anything.
it. I can't do it
Not
anymore.
spiders.
Spiders,
Yep,
I'm out.
spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Mhm.
how long
Whoa.
did this last? So you started
Yeah.
witnessing this around month 3 or 4, like you said. You'd been
And-
living together.
And by this point, how many times have you addressed it with her?
Yeah.
Well, she would always avoid me in person. So it
Mm.
was always me texting, or I don't think we even spoke on the phone. She wouldn't answer me. But I was kind of afraid of her. Like, she intimidated me because this crazy issue. Like, I could
Yeah.
tell that, she's not mentally stable and
Yeah.
healthy. And I'm not a confrontational person. But so I would just text her and try to keep things cordial because I tried to have compassion, but just never went anywhere with her.
So what was your breaking point? Like what?
Well, no, I feel like the story's going to progress as it goes on, right? Like,
Kind of. Like, I talked to management and they didn't care at all because I told them, like, I've been really sick. I've been coughing and wheezing, but I didn't bring up the trash issue because I didn't want to start anything at that point. And they were like, you're probably just allergic to the cats or the trees and the grass. And I was like, sure. And then I went back again and I was like, okay, like, there's trash everywhere. So I want a mold test done. And the guy said to me, he said, it's trash, not cocaine. And then, yeah, I was like,
Well, there's no
wow,
mold in that
okay.
either. So I don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make any
Yeah.
sense.
So I guess if it was drugs, it would be a problem. Or if it affected our neighbors, he said, then it would become a problem. And then he
Well,
said, if it were true that we could do something, like our office could do something, every mom in the world would be calling us right now. I'm like, are you serious?
Did they
Like, you're
see
just,
it? Did they see it?
they didn't care enough to,
Wow.
I think I might have showed the lady the pictures, but she was like, there's nothing we can really do. And I was like, okay, you guys are not helping me. You're invalidating my experience here.
yeah.
So then what, I mean, so then that was kind of the straw that broke it. So when, at what point did you
Mhm.
decide enough is enough and move out?
So my sister sent her a text and said, very respectful. Like, this is not acceptable for the way you're leaving the place. My sister has health issues because of you and your problems. And she just blew up on her. Like, F this, F this. Like, she was just going on, no apology, just went off. And I was on the phone with my sister, and she goes, like, I think we actually have a problem. Like, she is unhinged. Like, I don't know what to do. So, and she actually said back to my sister's text, like, this has sent me over the edge. Like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh God,
I
what does
was
that
like,
even
wow,
mean?
this is way, yeah. I was like, this is cryptic, something I can't deal with. So I called the hotline, and I just felt so unsafe from that point. So I moved my stuff into my car, stayed at a friend's house for like a month until I could move into the new place. But it was
Wow.
just not good. I felt really scared to live there and like even see her, be by her.
Yeah, I don't blame you for wanting to move out and even, take a sacrifice, live with a friend, keep most of your stuff in your car.
Mhm.
Like, be respectful of, you're not going to intrude the next friend you're living with, but be respectful. It's kind of a
Yeah.
hybrid situation where part of your stuff's
Oh
in your
my
car,
God.
part's at your
Mhm.
friend's house, just to escape the
Yeah.
chaos.
Mhm.
Wow. And
Whoa.
Yeah.
And what were some of the comments? So obviously this video went viral. Several of yours have. This original one you created did, from the original mess with the mattress that
Mhm.
we just saw on the floor. What were some of the comments?
It was just crazy. Some people were like, you shouldn't post this. Um, did you help her? They were just acting like on their high horse. Like, I did nothing to help this person. I was just bashing them online. Um, and like, you can't tell the whole situation from a 5-second video online.
Yeah, no way.
And yeah, so what else did they say? It was just a lot of hate, honestly. And this girl even made a whole separate video, like a stitch or a duet. And she was like, you don't understand mental illness, F you. I was like, girl, like, I don't deserve that. I didn't deserve to live in this situation. I don't need you coming at me either, honestly. And she was like, you shouldn't have posted that. I'm like, well, you just posted my video again. So I don't
Good point.
understand
Right.
that.
And I don't think
Yeah.
anybody is devaluing a mental illness. I mean, I even led with, like, clearly,
Mhm.
hoarders have a significant mental illness of which nobody is devaluing whatsoever.
Mhm.
But also
Exactly.
nobody deserves to live with what you lived in, and then for her to start saying certain
Mhm.
things and intimidating you,
Mhm.
obviously that is also
Right.
too far. And
Mhm.
listen, on TikTok, it's interesting where people come from, and there's so much opinions, right? I also know you got a
Yeah.
ton of support, right? And I think there were, like,
Mhm.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of likes, if not 500,000.
Yeah.
And there was, like,
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of comments, of which, yeah, a lot of people were like, oh my God. And I did notice that,
Yeah.
it's interesting now hearing your story and clearing up some of those
Mhm.
things where you weren't even showing her room. Those were the common areas she took
Yeah,
over.
that's
So
a
it's
very good
not like
point.
you were intruding her space either.
It's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
you didn't disclose her name. So it's not
No.
like they could even track it back
No.
to the person that you're referencing,
Yeah,
like,
God, no.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. No.
No.
I didn't say like
Whoa.
anything really.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, they're gonna find out who this is. It's not fair to this person. It wasn't fair to me.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well,
Mhm.
geez, Anna, thank you for sharing that story.
That was powerful.
yeah.
It
of
really
course.
was. And that just leads us to talk just for a second about our sponsors. So our sponsors are actually a mobile app called Chillo. And Chillo helps people find credible roommates and places to live. And I think what's really cool about Chillo is the endorsement side of the equation. So you can endorse a former roommate on what it was like to live with that person. And so it's kind of this really honest platform where you get to see what others said, what it was like. So obviously you would not be endorsing Jay for cleanliness,
No.
clearly,
No.
but you could for other factors, as she could have for you, right? And so I think as much as Facebook and Craigslist and all these things have been used for so long, I mean, this is where you did find these people, right? And it is so we live in such a wild time that I think Chillo really provides such an incredible solution for people looking for credible roommates and places to live. Is there anything you wanted to add on that?
No, I completely agree. I mean, imagine if you had a spot where you could give an endorsement or a review or give a reference to what it was like to live with this person you're talking about. If the next person that she ever tries to live with had a sense of what you experienced, highly likely she's going to have an easy time finding a roommate next time around. So I think ultimately what it comes down to is having people being held to a higher accountability and, having respect for the other person that's living under the same shared household, the same shared roof.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that would have been really helpful before you moved into the situation, obviously during, give the review, and then for whoever is the nightmare, to experience later on who lives with her. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So for any of you listeners who are out there looking for a roommate or a place to live, download our partners Chillo on the App Store or Google Play Store if you're looking for that credible roommate. All right. Well, for those that are listening, we at this point now like to share some roommate confessions or roommate call-ins. And if we don't have any call-ins for the week, or we couldn't really agree on one, we will pull a TikTok similar to yours that we've seen that we just think, oh my goodness, based on a roommate horror story. So let's check out today's Danielle Sheeran on TikTok and what some of the stuff that she's dealt with.
Was anyone else paired with someone crazy their freshman year of college? I'll start. My roommate came in the room the first day, set ground rules, gave us curfews, gave us rules, was very strict, told us, no smoking, no drinking, no boys, no talking past a certain hour, whatever. Can deal with that. I'm not crazy. But she also went Sasquatch hunting, and her whole side of the room was dedicated to Sasquatch, camo bed, pictures of it. She would go Sasquatch hunting on the weekend with her families. If you ever tried to say Sasquatch wasn't real, she would lose her mind. One time she called 911 because she thought I was on bath salts when I got a piercing and I had the Epsom salt on the table. One time, literally 911. One time the police showed up because they got a report that we were smoking weed. When they got there, she said that she just smelled something fruity and she knew that weed was a plant and it was something she hadn't smelled before. It was Victoria's Secret perfume. There's more. Was anyone else paired with someone?
Oh, okay. So she
That
just
is
laid it all out on the table.
Neurotic.
Yeah.
That roommate that she's talking about is neurotic.
She said, what did she say? She said she called the cops because she thought she was on bath salts because she was soaking her ear in Epsom salt.
To heal the wound, to heal the piercing.
She sounds a little kooky.
Neurotic.
Yeah, and calling the police too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's weed, but really it's Victoria's Secret. What'd she say? Love spell?
How do you mess that up? Like, how do you mess up the differences of Victoria's Secret perfume and weed?
Wait, she just laundry listed all of those things too.
One thing, actually,
Yeah.
speaking about the smells that I thought about briefly in your story, Anna, is if for whatever reason, let's just say hypothetically, your roommate had COVID through this process of the dog shitting in her bedroom, maybe she lost her smell and was like, hey, it's there. I don't really want to clean it up, but at least I can't smell it
For a month?
for a
Yeah.
month. Oh, God.
No, just lazy.
That is pure laziness and just disgust.
That's so
I
gross.
feel bad for you having to go through all that. That's rough.
It was really bad.
And then the gnats and the
Yeah.
flies and the smell and oh God,
Yeah,
the
and I'm
kind of
still
the
trying to get rid of the eczema on my arms from all the nasty stuff in the apartment.
oh, you got eczema because of it?
I know that I posted some of it, but
I might have missed that.
I don't if you can really see.
Oh my
but
God.
I see a little,
it's
yeah.
white, but then tan
Yeah.
here. So I would itch a lot, and then I also have an inhaler. But I've been going to the dermatologist to get that.
Yeah. She literally put your health at risk.
So yeah, and she knew that because I told her multiple times, and she continued to do it.
Oh,
Wow.
And then
so
people were
sorry.
defending her still. Yeah.
That is
Whoa.
wild. I mean, compared to
Yeah.
that, I mean, that situation we just heard from Danielle from TikTok. I mean, granted, it was a
Mhm.
laundry list of kind of like little things. Is it weird that she went Sasquatch hunting? Yes. Is it weird that her whole room is dedicated to it? Yes. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of things. But I got to say, if I had to choose a situation, I'm choosing Danielle's over yours any day of the week.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's still bad too.
It is, yeah. I mean, that's super unfortunate and kind of weird. I mean, I think when
Mhm.
you're dealing with somebody who's like that quirky, and in a 30-second TikTok, you can list like 9 things where the police are called now on multiple occasions. Like, you know that there was so much more there, right? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, like it wasn't just and Danielle's this TikTok too got just shy of 3 million views. So kind of same thing, like so much engagement, because I think people are they're very curious. They're really interested in, like, because not all of us have had, Steven and I have had a ton of crummy experiences, but I mean, ours looks like a freaking cakewalk compared to, I would say, probably both Danielle's from the TikTok and yours, to be honest.
We have heard some wild situations. And in terms of tolerance, I think yours is probably the one that I have the least amount of tolerance for, which I got to give you mad credit because
Yeah.
you handled it, you handled it like a saint.
Yeah.
And for that, I got to
Thank
tip my
you.
hat to you because, yeah, that is impressive. Just the patience, the
Compassion.
compassion. Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank-
stand up roommate, Anna, stand up roommate.
Yeah, for
Thank
real.
you.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
I also feel like too, like the roommate you're talking about, her best case scenario is probably living by herself. And that's highly unlikely because she probably becomes dependent on someone else taking care of the dog in terms of letting out for the bathroom and feeding, whatever.
Oh, the first
If she's
one?
gone for 12, if she's gone for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, you're talking about now
Mhm.
B, not J.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. B. Yeah.
So you're talking, yeah, I mean, multiple. I mean, yeah, you dealt with not just one bad roommate, but I mean,
Mhm.
two in
The two.
one situation. So what was the total length that you lived there?
It was 7 months. Well,
Wow.
technically 6 because I didn't live there in July, pretty much. But
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think
Yeah.
we have heard it all today.
Yeah. That was heavy.
That was
yeah.
And that
wild.
video was a lot.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
by any means, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes people need to let others know what's going on in their life. And like the fact you had to handle and
Mhm.
deal with that, it's good to like just put it
Yeah.
out there. Like, is this normal, folks? Like, does
Yeah.
anybody else think this is
Is
somewhat
anybody
normal?
else dealing with this?
What would you guys do if you had a roommate that was doing this
Right.
in our common space and shared
Yeah.
areas?
I mean, it just
Mhm.
goes to show you how untrusted some of these quote unquote trusted platforms are, guys. Stay off of Facebook for
Mhm.
finding roommates. Stay off of Craigslist for finding roommates. Stay off of groups, right? Unfortunately, you really just, unless you can see credibility through background checks, ID checks, previous endorsements, references, reviews, preferences, vibes, lifestyle based on a profile built for a roommate. You really don't know, like Anna, who you're sharing your roof with. I mean, it's just such a risk. So again, just going back to our sponsors, Chillo, I think would be a great solution for a lot of us out there to avoid situations like you went through. And I'm sorry you went through it because again, I think Stephen put it perfectly. Like, you handled it like a saint.
You really did.
Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Anna, so much for joining us today. If our listeners want to
course.
follow you or hear more about you and your journey, where can they find you on TikTok and Instagram? I know you mentioned TikTok, but mention it for us again.
So it's A.Touhey. So Touhey on both Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome.
All
Awesome.
right, Anna.
And if our listeners want to find our sponsors, you can find Chillo obviously on the Google Play or iOS App Store, or follow them at Chillo App on TikTok or Instagram. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well at Roommate Confessions Pod.
Yeah, do it, guys, because I guarantee the more people that follow, it's going to spread, and you'll even hear even more and crazy stories. So do it.
Do it. Go.
Do it.
What are you waiting for? Anna, thank you for sharing, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was great having you. Thank you.